News of Bill Cosby's release from prison today shocked people around the world. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court said former DA Bruce Castor's agreement not to prosecute Cosby in order to get him to testify in a civil suit was binding. In admitting testimony Cosby gave in that civil suit about drugging women he wanted to sleep with in his criminal trial violated his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. We have two legal experts familiar with the case here with us tonight. In Washington, legal analyst and crisis manager Monique Pressley, who previously served as one of Bill Cosby's defense attorneys, and in Atlanta, president of the National Bar Association, CK Hoffler. Thank you both for joining me tonight.
Good to be here.
Thanks for having me, Yodit.
CK, let me start with you. I addressed this at the beginning of the show, that this isn't about Bill Cosby's guilt or innocence. It's about due process. And, you know, what do you make of this decision today? Can you break down the legalese?
I can. Well, first of all, let me just say from the outset, nothing that I'm going to say is going to make any commentary on his guilt or innocence, because that's not the issue that the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania decided on or looked at. So I'm not going to make any comment on that. And my heart does go out to the young woman and to any women who believe or who have allegations, or if he even admitted to having improper relations with them. So my comments will not go towards whether he's guilty or innocent. Strictly the procedural issues. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, and by the way, I am licensed in Pennsylvania, reasoned that, in my words, a deal is a deal. If the prosecutor made a deal with Bill Cosby and his attorneys and said, in exchange for not prosecuting you on these crimes, these alleged crimes, if you give testimony and don't invoke your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, meaning that right that we all have to not give statements that could put us and that could incriminate us or put us in a bad position from a criminal standpoint, if you forego invoking that right, we will not prosecute you from a criminal standpoint. That was the deal, as I understand it, in my words. And when the prosecutor agreed to that, and when Bill Cosby relied on that and proceeded to give testimony, that was incriminating testimony where he admitted to doing certain things. He gave that in a civil case. Then that was the deal. So for the prosecutors, another set of prosecutors in that office to later say, look, we don't care about that deal. We're going to take those statements and we are going to prosecute him. And as a result, they got a conviction. That is something that was done to the detriment of Bill Cosby. Now, I personally may have a different view one way or the other as to whether or not the prosecutor should have entered that deal. But one thing I will say is a deal is a deal. And if there's due process and if there's a constitution, and that prosecutor should have known or knew the consequences, or that office should have known or knew the consequences of reneging on a deal. Because that's what this means. A deal was made by that office, and then it was reneged by that office. And that, I believe, is what the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said is not right, is not tolerable, is not fair. And that's why they overturned the conviction and vacated his sentence. So that's the deal.
Monique, your thoughts to today's decision?
Well, Yodit, I have the same thing to say today that I had on December 31st, 2015, the day after the charges were brought against Dr. Cosby, when a political gamesmanship is taking precedence over due process and constitutional freedoms, you end up with unjust outcomes. So when one prosecutor, District Attorney Castor, as CK just said, gave an assurance, made a promise, and then the later defendant relied upon that and made statements waiving constitutional rights that none of his attorneys at that time would have ever permitted for him to do, then it's absurd to think that a prosecutor can come 12 years later and act like, oh, I'm here now That was then. This is not corporate America. This is supposed to be a functioning democracy in the United States of America, and that means that every person is treated the same way under the law. And it means that when someone steps into the office of the government, in this case the Commonwealth, it doesn't matter that the person in the position changes. The promise was made on the part of the government. And we have to be able to rely on the promises made by prosecutors, especially. They have way too much discretion, too much power. They literally hold people's lives in their hands and make everyday decisions. Who's going to get charged? Who isn't? Whether a plea deal is going to be offered? How much time is going to be recommended to a judge? How could it be the case that in one year, for instance, a prosecutor tells your brother, we're willing to give you a 10-year deal. And 10 years later, when the time is up, another prosecutor is in office and says, oh, that's a terrible deal. We want to add more time. We think he did other things. This doesn't make any sense. I don't have to adhere to it. Come on. Who can't understand that that's not the way our system is supposed to work? So I recognize the emotionally charged environment. I recognize and hear the things that I'm sure people are saying, but this is not about this one man and the law being adhered to and the Supreme Court finding the right way in this one case. This is about what is supposed to happen under the law in every case.
CK, Andrea Constant, the victim in this case. Cosby admitted in the civil lawsuit that he drugged her because he wanted to have sex. As lawyers, we understand why that testimony shouldn't have been let in during his criminal trial. But what do you make of this agreement, this promise made by Bruce Castor?
Well, I can tell you, I put the blame on Bruce Castor and the prosecutor's office, because it is true. Bill Cosby probably would not have given those statements, admitting to drugging her and engaging in improper and illegal conduct to try to seduce her and to try to get her to sleep with him. So he admitted to that, but the problem is it was based on a faulty premise, which was later reneged upon. So I feel very badly for her. I think it's devastating for her. But I have to say this. If you want to find fault in this process, look at the prosecutor's office, because number one, they never should have entered into this agreement, and it was the prosecutor's office. It's not a prosecutor, it's the prosecutor's office. And then secondly, once that agreement was reached, which was publicly disclosed, this was not a secret, it was publicly disclosed, then the prosecutor's office, in my impression, had a duty to follow through. And to the extent that they didn't, and they got the statement from Bill Cosby that were incriminating, then the entire process was poisoned. And it's unfortunate for the victims. But this decision had less to do with the victims and more to do with the Constitution and procedural due process. It's unfortunate because the victims lay in the balance. But where I put the blame is in the prosecution's office. And that doesn't mean that all prosecutors are flawed. Much to the contrary, there's some phenomenal prosecutors. We saw Keith Ellison in the Derek Chauvin trial, phenomenal prosecutors in this country. But this office of prosecutors that reneged on their commitment and their promise and induced someone to give incriminating statements and then pull the rug away from them, that's not right. That's a miscarriage of justice, and that is why we have this kind of outcome. So that's why if we're looking for blame, and everybody's trying to blame someone, I believe it's squarely at the feet of the prosecutors. I don't like any of this, let me just say that, at all. But we need to look to the prosecutors. And by the way, they have given Bill Cosby a cause of action, a civil cause of action, to go against them. They absolutely have opened that door, number one. Now, I don't believe that Cosby's, legal woes are over, not by a long shot. It's my understanding that some of the other women are involved in litigation right now, and they're going to pursue civil claims against him. But the prosecutor's office in Pennsylvania opened up the door, potentially, for a civil case that Bill Cosby can bring. So this is going to continue on, Yodit, in the future, and it's a hot mess. But the prosecutor's office started it, and if we have to look at where it fell apart, it's in that office, and that office should be held accountable.
Yodit, I'm not an
Monique,
advocate for anybody.
go ahead, I'm
just
sorry.
an analyst calling balls and strikes. But I do want to clarify that Dr. Cosby never in any deposition said that he gave Ms. Constant drugs without her knowledge for the purpose of having sex with her. The comments that were made were about Benadryl, and it was about giving it to her with her consent and not for the purpose of sex. So there certainly were other things in there that related to things in years past that certainly I believe lawyers wouldn't have allowed him to answer, but it wasn't about what happened that night and what he stated plainly through 4 different depositions about that night. So what the Supreme Court also said was that one of the things that needed to be done was credit, basically, Bruce Castor and his decision that because of the inconsistent testimony of Ms. Constant, he did not believe that he would be able to get the inconsistent statements, that he didn't believe he would be able to get a conviction. So that's something that, in essence, they're saying prosecutors have this discretion. We can't go back and second guess him and why he made the decision. We just have to honor it because this defendant relied on it.
Yeah.
Okay, really quickly, I want to, CK, you have something to say?
Well, I said, yeah. I mean, we can go back and second guess or not. That's what the Supreme Court did. They went back and they said, look, you made a deal. You should have stuck to the deal, and that's it. That Bill Cosby relied on that deal. Like it or not, he relied on that deal. So I think we're doing a whole lot of second guessing, but the bottom line is the top court in the state of Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court has ruled on this, and that's what it is. And the bottom line, they said a deal is a deal, and they never should have reneged on that deal.
So is there any avenue, because there's talk about appealing, but we know this kind of case, obviously, the Supreme Court of the U.S. is not going to take up this matter here. So is there any avenue for these prosecutors at all?
No.
Monique?
No. It's done.
So tell me this. The prosecutors obviously screwed this case up. What about the concerns that people are expressing now that survivors of sexual violence will look to this example and be even more reluctant than they already are to come forward? CK, you can take that.
Well, I'm saddened about that. I'm very saddened about that because I do think it will have a chilling effect on some people. But what I would say to women who are victims of sexual assault and sexual abuse, you must speak up. You must speak up. Don't let a procedural faux pas or a decision by prosecutors to strike a deal and then renege on a deal chill you and chill that feeling when you have been abused of coming forward. You must speak up. You must come forward because there will never be any chance of justice against abusers if you don't. Again, I'm not commenting on the guilt or innocence in this case of Bill Cosby. I just don't want this case and the results, a procedural, if you will, or a technical issue to chill what is a strong movement right now of women feel comfortable and coming forward when they have been victims of sexual abuse.
Monique, I'll give you the last word if you have anything to say on that.
Only that I don't believe the prosecutors screwed this case up. I think they insisted upon it. It was a campaign promise made, and it was a campaign promise fulfilled by one man who was interested in having an office and waited until the 11th hour before the statute of limitations ran in order to bring charges, and did not mind at all the fact that his office had made promises to the contrary that someone had relied upon. I don't think that this happening is just a technicality. I think that any time that someone relies where their liberty is at stake on our government and waives their Fifth Amendment right to be silent, it's a big deal. And I am thankful that the Supreme Court did the right thing, because I am certain that this is not the only instance where something like this has occurred or would occur again.
Monique Pressley, CK Hoffler, thank you both for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.